y'all. I have spent about an hour and a half talking with my spirit guides and with Heavenly Father, and I have some information. This morning before I started, I asked Father, can we please talk about something that's going to tip the scales? It's going to tip the scales in my favor. Because I was talking to somebody yesterday and I told him, I can't wait for this to be done because I want my life back. I do. I want my life back. And ironically, but not ironically, because of my psychic abilities, I must have known that this conversation was going to happen today with my spirit guides and with Father. So here we go. All right. So Tommy has actually tried to tell the FBI that the night that I was supposed to go to his house, that they were going to give me the deed to the house, but I didn't go. The FBI said, well, why didn't you give it to her later? And Tommy said, well, because she disappeared and he didn't know where I was. Then the FBI said, yes, you did. You got arrested for stalking her. Tommy went limp in his chair, which he tends to do when he gets caught in his lies. Now he's trying to say that I'm just tripping on him because he was with Kathy. The FBI asked, well, why would she be? Tommy said, because they used to be friends for a long time. Now, this is something that the FBI knows, but they pretended like they didn't know so that they could get Tommy to talk. But now they've heard it from the horse's mouth that Kathy and I were best friends. We were close for, nearly 17 years. It makes everything make sense in this situation. FBI. There was a police officer by the name of Neil Smith that worked in Tucson, Arizona at the time that I was working as a security guard at the Pantano Parkway Apartments. This officer knows Kathy and I were best friends, and he also knows of the situation with Adrian. So I was never able to get proof because when I went to get my medical records, they told me it was going to cost me $700, which obviously at the time I didn't have $700 for medical records. And when I asked if we could do it in small increments, they told me no. No doubt in my mind this had something to do with the Masons, so that at such a later time they would be able to say that this never happened to me. But we all know it did, because Kathy lied and said it didn't happen, and then turned around and lied again and said that it did happen because I gave her the money from Hanko, from that inheritance. So everybody knows that this really did happen. But if you have any questions, Neil Smith was the officer who I was friends with at the time, who got me the ride in the police helicopter and tried to help me become an officer. But obviously, Adrian hindered and stopped that from happening. Because if I had become an officer, then I would have been credible and they wouldn't have been able to pull all this crap that they've pulled for years. So they stopped me from becoming an officer. All right. FBI, I'm being called to talk about a situation that happened in the past between Tommy and Jessica. They apparently got into a knockdown, drag-out physical fight, and she hit him, and he hit her back. When he hit her back, she went through a window. They were both arrested, but Tommy was held longer. The Tommy Toxic gang got him out, and he was supposed to go take Jessica out, but she disappeared. The children were taken from her by CPS, and she is now trying to get those children back. Tommy was so mad about the situation that he actually started taking this out on Kathy. Kathy then started to see this side of Tommy that I had been talking about, the evil, dark side of him. And that's when she stole money from him to try to get away from him. And this is when Tommy started stalking me again in Texas. He was told not to come to Texas, but he didn't listen, and he came anyway. All right. Tommy is trying to say that I am not the real deal. And the FBI asked him, well, then how does she know all of this? Tommy said that I stole the grimoire the night that I went missing. And the FBI told him, no, she didn't. We have it. Tommy said, what? The FBI said that they got it from the car that Eddie tried to get back from the impound lot. And Tommy said, oh shit, that really happened? The FBI said, yes, that really happened. That's the way that it happened. And that's how we know that she's the real deal. Tommy said, well, that's not fair. She was supposed to die before any of this came out. And they started asking him more questions. They asked him how I was supposed to die. And he told them that I was supposed to be poisoned. But when that didn't work, then they hired someone to shoot me. But she left town before it could get done. They asked who it was that was supposed to shoot me. And Tommy said that the man's name was Hoot. And he was a master at killing people. The FBI said, why didn't he do it? Tommy said because he fell in love with her and he couldn't do it. Hoot even asked her to marry him. The FBI asked what I had said to that proposal, and Tommy said, she said no. And then she stopped seeing him. Tommy then said that I called the sheriff on Hoot because he had brought a gun into my house. Yes, I did. The FBI asked what happened then, and Tommy said, well, we kind of had to calm things down because we needed to keep it under control. That's when Linda left town to go to the funeral. The FBI asked what funeral was that, and Tommy said, her adopted daughter, Manisha, that's who. The FBI said, she really adopted Manisha? Tommy said, no, but she was like a daughter to Linda. The FBI asked, how did Manisha die? Tommy said, black magic, that's how. Even Heavenly Father was surprised that Tommy came out and said that. The FBI asked what kind of magic it was, and Tommy said, we called a banshee, and it worked. The FBI said, what does a banshee do? And Tommy said, it takes the life of a loved one that hears it. The FBI said, Linda heard it? Tommy said, yes. She did a video about it. The FBI said, did she? We haven't seen it. Tommy said she titled it Banshee. And then to make matters worse for himself, he said, I was watching the night that it happened, and it really freaked her out. Then the FBI said, why didn't you get killed? Why didn't someone you love get killed if you heard it? And Tommy said, I wasn't near her when it happened. I was watching through the security cameras she had. They asked him about the security camera, and Tommy told them that they were all watching me. The whole coven was watching me. so that they knew when I left the house so that they could take things to do magic on me. The FBI asked, "How did you get in?" Tommy said, "Oh, her landlord was a part of the coven, so it was easy." And then Tommy suddenly realized what he had just said. And he tried to take it back, but it was recorded. Tommy shut up after that, and they took him back to his cell. The FBI then watched the video that I did about the banshee. They were surprised at the knowledge that I had about what it was, and it made them think that I may have something to do with all of this. But after the last video, they started to realize that the info I know is simply because of my spirit guides. I didn't know anything about anything when it came to magic until I was put in this situation with the coven. My spirit guides and Heavenly Father have taught me and shown me the things that I need to do to protect myself from these things. And in order to protect myself from these things, I have to have knowledge of these things. So they have taught me and are teaching me what I need to do to protect myself. And that, my friends, is the end of that story for now. But I will have more. There will be more. You can count on it. All right, y'all. I'm going to go for now. Please love each other. Love yourselves even more. You know that I love you, and I will catch you all later. Have a great day. Bye.